in the fifth, that was a great opportunity. In the sixth was a great opportunity. I mean, I thought we had some really good at-bats to give ourselves opportunities, taking the walks when they were offered. The double play was tough, but Miller's really good against lefties. We know that. But we would take our chances with Massey in that spot every day of the week.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John with producer Jake Gutierrez. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. Have you often thought about how you could get your hands on the same bone broth that fuels Jake Gutierrez? I know I have. Hey, Jake, where can I get some? A listener might say.
Oh, Steven, funny you should ask.
What answer would you give them?
I would tell them the Kansas City Health Club is where you'd get it. kchealthclub.com or kansascityhealthclub.com.
Who makes it?
I make it.
Who came up with the recipe?
I came up with the recipe.
After many trials and tribulations, you perfected the recipe.
I have. I still need to get you to try it.
I want you.
All right. I'll bring you a jar.
Now that you perfected the recipe, I've been waiting.
I'll bring you a jar tomorrow.
Think I was going to try it early?
That would be crazy.
I tried the finished product.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, smart. You're smart.
I'll wait till it's done.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. It's good for you, man. It's actually great for you.
No, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to take that leap because of, a leaky gut.
Causes a lot of issues
I
in
have
life.
a leaky life.
Yeah.
No, I saw it on social media. So, I'm ready to make that leap.
Good, man. We'll get you hooked up. Get you squared away.
You've had many people ask you, which one should I buy? Where should I get it? How do I make it? What do I do? And now that you have an answer for them.
Yeah, it's been a project I've been working on for a while now, but it was launched this week. So go to kchealthclub.com, get registered. We'll send you information, let you know how to get your hands on it.
Who's we?
Kansas City Health Club.
Mm-hmm. But you're part of the we.
Yeah.
You're not just passing them off to some people.
No, I'm not just passing off some people. It's Jake made.
That's what we want to hear. Does it taste good?
Oh, it's so good. I just had some. I have some every day. That's the first thing I do when I get home.
All right.
I used to make it here, but during the show, there's so much going on. I don't have time.
There was a certain
pungent smell.
Yeah.
It's better.
Right.
It's better.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But
all right then.
Yeah.
Perhaps you should send a batch over to Kauffman Stadium.
Ooh.
And see if you can get that in the hands of several members of the Kansas City Royals. Well, here we go.
Here we go.
I told you if they lost last night, things were going to get really interesting. And sometimes interesting is good. But I don't know right now. Look, the Royals, I feel like I had to have this conversation a couple of times during the 7-game losing streak because other teams were not taking advantage of the Royals losing. And we kept saying, yeah, they lost another game, but, they're still in good position. They're still in good shape here as far as a wild card spot. You don't need me to tell you anything, okay? There's only 10 games left, all right? There's only 10 games left. And they didn't pick it, but they found a horrible time to go through another losing streak. They've lost 3 in a row now, and they have found a horrible opponent to lose games to, and that's the red-hot Detroit Tigers. And they have lost 2 close, nail-biting games that are tremendously frustrating. They lost the first game 7-6. They lost last night 3-1. And again, it sounds bad because it's coming after a loss, but I cannot tell you how much I hate the extra inning rule of ghost man on second all of a sudden. I hate it. I don't like it. Whatever. It's not. Hey, the Royals have an equal chance as the other teams. They failed in New York. They failed last night. But I've been consistent. I don't like it. It just irritates me. And, of course, it irritates me even more when the Royals lose in extra innings. But I'm just not a fan of it, and I'm not going to be. If the Royals would have won last night, I'd have been happy that they won, and I still wouldn't be a fan of the extra inning rule. So, off my soapbox. I was watching the Detroit Tigers broadcast of the game because I like to hear what the opposition has to say. I like to get a different perspective. And I will listen to Royals broadcasts, and there's nothing wrong with that. But every now and again, at least once a series, I like to listen to the opposing broadcast just to hear what they have to say about the Royals, just so I can learn a little bit more about that team and just get a feel for what's going on. It gives me a better perspective for the series. And so late last night in the game, I was listening to the Detroit broadcast. And, I mean, they're having a blast, first of all, because this is found money for them. They didn't think they'd be in this situation where they were calling important games in September and watching a team perhaps play their way into the postseason. And so that a lot of enthusiasm there. Hey, we've been a part of that, right? When a team that wasn't expected to go to the playoffs, all of a sudden, here we are, kind of in 2014. But, you know, here, this has been crazy. But for the Tigers, I mean, this season, early on this season, maybe even a month ago, you didn't consider them a playoff team. But now here they are, and they're right in the thick of things. But last night, watching the game, when Lucas Urseg was in the game, and so that takes us to the 9th inning. He gets through the 9th, and then he comes out for the 10th. We've seen the Royals use him for 2 innings before. Not a big deal there. But you could tell, or at least I could tell, I think most people could tell watching the game, that he started to get tired in the 10th. And he got the ground out, which was great, which is exactly what he needed in the 10th, and it didn't move the runner over. So, okay, here we go. You get 1 out without the Tigers moving the runner over. We're in business here. He's got a real shot to get out of this inning and not let that runner from second score. Then he commits the balk. Tigers broadcast goes crazy. And then after that, the broken bat single, which led to the run. He gets a strikeout, but then he walks Verling. And at that point, before Riley Green comes up to the plate, the Tigers broadcasts are both Jason Benetti and whoever else is in there. They can't leave him. He's that tank is empty. Are they gonna take a chance and go one more hitter with Urseg? They've got Cruz in the bullpen, but Cruz just recently got called up. And Zerpa warming up, and I'm thinking, I don't know how I feel about either of those options. But listening to the Tigers broadcast, they were adamant that he's done. I mean, you could tell right now he doesn't have anything left. And they were hoping that he would stay in the game and pitch to Green. And so I don't. When you were watching the game, I assume you're watching the Royals broadcast. Was that feeling? Was that expressed? Were you watching that and thinking, "Oh man, he's out of gas right now"?
I had that thought, but I wasn't paying too close attention to Rex and Ryan. They didn't seem like that was like an impending thing that the Royals need to do this. I just have hesitant in the two guys that were in the bullpen.
Yeah, right. And I'm thinking the whole time, well, man, I'm probably gonna see if Irsay could just gut it out.
I mean, yeah, hindsight being, that's probably was the better option.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't outraged that he was in the game. I was just curious if anyone else was talking about that because
they weren't. It wasn't made it adamant.
That was the entire topic in the Tigers broadcast. Boy, they're taking a big chance here, leaving him in. His tank is clearly empty, and you could. I mean, they were talking about all the signs that. I mean, you could tell when a pitcher is just out of gas and fighting through it. And then the first pitch, the Green fouls off a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and they say, oh, Green's on it. Green's on this. And Irsay knows it. Look at Irsay's face. He knows it. They were doing a great job of describing what was going on. He's not gonna get away with that again. And so it was almost like they was a foregone conclusion that Green was going to get a hit, and he did. He almost hit the cover off the ball. Irsay had a chance in it. Bobby Witt had a chance in it, but it was hit too hard, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean that was a bad walk to get to Green.
Because because right after they go, he's got to be done now, right? He's done. They can't leave him in the game now to face Green. I mean, they're going to leave him in. Okay. Oh, they're going to leave him in.
Double check. That was a 4-pitch walk, wasn't it? I need to look. But
so
I remember having that feeling like, wow,
they were surprised that they left him in. They left Irsay in. But again, then when you I wasn't dying to see Zerpa or Cruz out of the bullpen, so I guess dance with the one that brought you.
Yeah, it was a 4-pitch walk to Verling. So I do remember man, that's uncharacteristically, Irsay, those were 4. I mean, especially the 4th pitch was way out of the zone.
That just shows how important the game was. They left him out there, and they thought he was their best. And again, in the moment, I wasn't demanding that Zerpa or Cruz come in the game. But they were just, the Tigers broadcast was all over it. And that first foul off by Green, they go, Green's on it, and Irsay knows it. He's got to figure something out. This is when you got to, gut through it. That tank's empty, and he didn't get through it. And they predicted it. They saw it, the writing on the wall. I'm sure that other people that were watching the game saw it as well. But that's what happens when you don't have a very deep bullpen. So, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You take Irsay out, Zerba gives it up, or Cruz gives it up. Why did you take Irsay out? You leave him in. Why'd you leave him in when the tank was empty? That changed the dynamic once they got that second run. The Royals weren't going to come back. The Royals, again, unable to do anything with runners on base. They had plenty of opportunities.
I mean, we were talking about the circle of trust, and you and Bloom were getting into guys that you trust in the bullpen, and Bubic had already gone, but Lynch, why wasn't that an option?
I don't know.
I mean, if Lynch was warming up, I would have, it'd be like, okay, I would have felt probably more convicted to go like, why isn't he going to Lynch here? But the fact, I don't know. Hey, that's what you do. You second guess, but like he didn't pitch yesterday. I mean, 2 days ago. I mean, he hadn't pitched since Sunday in Pittsburgh. So I don't know. There are better options in my opinion. So
In the 5th inning, the Royals had the bases loaded, and Massey grounded into a double play. In the 6th inning, the Royals had the bases loaded, and Pham flied out to right to end the inning. They had plenty of base runners, plenty of opportunities, and they couldn't get it done. And they waste a really good pitching performance from Cole Reagans. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Bubic was terrific in his inning. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. Couldn't do anything with the Tigers bullpen. Mize only gave him 4 1/3. I mean, look at it. 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits and 4 walks, 10 base runners in 4 1/3 innings, and they were only able to get 1 run across against Mize. And then the bats went to sleep against the bullpen. And that was it. So now you're in the situation where you've got Alec Marsh going for the Royals against Tarek Skubal, who's probably going to win the AL Cy Young Award. He's been the best pitcher in the league this year. And it's not a must win because they can still make the playoffs after if they get swept. But good God, it'd be nice if they won this game. I mean, they're putting themselves in a very tricky situation if they lose this game again today, if they get swept by the Tigers. You know, I mean, nothing's this because that's why I don't throw that around. Nothing's a must win until it's a must win. Okay, must win means you must win this game or you're done. But if they lose this game, then again, everything's on the table. Anything could happen from this point, which includes not making the postseason. And what a collapse that would be. But because they've lost these first 2 games, last night was an important game. This one's even more important. You look at the wild card standings now. Jeez. The Royals only have a 1.5 game lead over Minnesota. Minnesota only has a 1.5 game lead over Detroit. Seattle's still 3 back of Minnesota, so we won't talk about them right now. We'll just talk about these 3 teams in the AL Central. The Royals are 82-70. The Twins are 80-71. The Tigers are 79-73. If the Tigers beat the Royals tonight, I mean, they're only 2 back of the Royals. So it's just, I mean, all the separation's gone. They have a 1.5 game lead over the Twins, and right now a 3-game lead over the Tigers. Beat the Tigers tonight, back to a 4-game lead as far as making the playoffs, and you feel good about it. A 4-game lead with 9 to play. A lot different than a 2-game lead with 9 to play. That's what we're talking about here. Now, Minnesota, and it could very well be that the Tigers catch Minnesota and they don't catch Kansas City, and it's Kansas City and Detroit as the 2nd and 3rd wild card teams, and Minnesota's the odd team out. That's probably what I'd bet on right now. But if the Royals don't win some games soon, then it could be them. I don't think it'll be. I still think the Royals are going to make the playoffs. But they're making it too interesting. Too interesting now. You know? It's just... How the hell with it, though, man?
It's hard to comprehend that. I mean...
Is it?
I mean...
If they lose tonight, is it hard to comprehend that?
No, I mean, the fact that we're here, that's... I mean, for as long as they've been pushing and you know, as nobody took advantage of that 7-game losing streak, you thought, like, okay, whew, you survived that. All right, they're good. And
they still are good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I mean, they're still in a better situation than Minnesota or Detroit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But they gotta wake up. Bats gotta wake up. When you get a pitching performance like that, you gotta win.
Yeah. Yes.
You gotta win. And look, and
that's rough.
On paper, you're like, oh, Screwball Marsh. There's no way they can win that. Well, on paper, the Royals had a heavy advantage with Lugo and Reagans going in games 1 and 2.
Right.
And that didn't stop the Tigers from winning. So just because on paper it looks like you have a big disadvantage in the pitching matchup, that doesn't mean you're going to lose, because that's baseball. If the better pitcher was guaranteed to win, then the Royals would have won the first 2 games of this series. And they didn't. Lugo didn't pitch well enough, but Reagans did.
Absolutely.
Reagans pitched like an ace.
Absolutely, he did.
And the bats went to sleep.
Well, this team fights and fights and fights and has a great backbone. And so, I mean, this is where you show it. This is where you bow up. You know, that would be a great example of a team with their backs against the wall, going against the best in the league. I mean, it's gonna be a fun game to watch tonight.
Twins beat the Guardians last night. Twins Guardians tonight. Bailey Ober, who we've seen when he's on, he can be unhittable. He's like 7'4" against Bybee, who's really good too. That's a good pitching matchup between the Twins and the Guardians. If you want to still pay attention to the Mariners, they're hosting the Yankees. So
they got pounded last night by the Yankees.
Yeah. That was a big loss for them.
Yep. It's meaningful baseball, man. This is it. More than we asked for. But here we are.
Royals lose to the Tigers 3-1 in 10. The Giants beat the Orioles 10-0, and the Giants are up next. So I mean, they're not laying down for the Orioles.
Nope.
So don't expect the Giants to come in here and lay down for the Royals.
Yeah. No, I think the Yankees have a 4-game lead over the Orioles.
The Twins beat the Guardians 4-1. The Rays are putting the Red Sox away 8-3. And then, as you mentioned, the Yankees pummeled the Mariners 11-2. So that's where we are right now. Royals, Twins, and Tigers battling for the last 2 wild card spots.
Pummeled.
And how bizarre is that? And again, the Royals have a 3-game lead right now over the Tigers. You win this game, and it's a 4-game lead with 9 left for a playoff spot. Now you might end up just, grabbing the last playoff spot, but so what? At this point now, you're just worried about making the playoffs. Just make the playoffs. And going into the season, and again, you got to keep this thing in the overall perspective. If I'd have told you the Royals would make the playoffs, it'll be the 5 or the 6 seed, or the 7 seed, the last wild card spot. You okay with that? You'd be great with it. Oh, they're going to make the playoffs. That's fantastic. But now they're in a real fight. This is going to be a playoff type. It was last night, a playoff type atmosphere. You really need to win this game. You're going up against the guy that's going to win the Cy Young, and you're going up against a team that is trying to chase you down. I know Minnesota's in the way, but still, they're trying to chase. They just want to catch one of them. They don't care if they catch Minnesota or if they catch the Royals. They just got to catch one of those teams. And the team in front of them right now is Kansas City, and they've won the first 2 games of this series. You let them sweep, they leave here, they're flying high. And that's the problem. Like we talked about, teams really didn't take advantage of the Royals' 7-game losing streak. Well, the Tigers are taking advantage of everything right now.
Hottest team in baseball.
They're on it. They're on it.
8-2 in their last 10. Got to put them down.
Oh, that sounds
you
aggressive.
can't get swept in this series.
Well, they can.
They can.
I mean, you're facing the Cy Young Award winner, and that's all that's standing between you and getting swept. It absolutely can happen. Look, Marsh he's come up big and against good competition at times this year. But it's just, you know, I mean, you had Lugo and you had Reagan's and you wasted it, especially the Reagan start. You wasted it. You had 10 base runners against Casey Mize in 4 1/3, and you get 1 run. Not good enough. Oh boy. But hey, this is baseball. This is meaningful games in September. It's stressful. I'd like to say it's fun. It'd be fun if the Royals win tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Skubal and Marsh on the mound. The Chiefs, and we'll hear some comments later, but Kareem Hunt back with the Kansas City Chiefs on the practice squad. And so the 29-year-old gets another opportunity with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll see. I mean, I would imagine as soon as he gets up to speed, the Chiefs are going to activate him and utilize him because they need him. And they've got Carson Steele and Samaje Perine, who will handle the bulk of the work against Atlanta. Chiefs are probably going to call up Keontae Ingram or Imani Bailey from the practice squad. And now you've got Kareem Hunt. Apparently the Chiefs were happy with how he looked in the workout. Going to take some time to get him into game shape. And we'll see how quickly that happens before they can feel comfortable activating him. And then we'll see what Kareem Hunt has left in the tank. You're smiling.
Because I claimed him on waivers last night.
No, he was the number 1 waiver claim. He was the number 1 waiver claim over Carson Steele in our league last night.
Really?
Like, I didn't understand that.
No, someone took Steele. I had Steele as my number 1.
I'd have had Steele. I had Steele number 1 on my waiver claims, but I'm 2-0. I wasn't close. You know.
Yeah.
When you win, you don't get those waiver claims.
I'm 2-0 also, and
Right.
Steele. I had Steele as my 1 claim, and I put Hunt as my 2nd claim, and I did not get Steele, but I got Kareem Hunt.
I mean,
It's
lottery ticket.
back of your roster. It's worth a shot.
I didn't put a claim on him, but I know I wasn't going to get him anyway.
Yeah, my team is very top heavy. I was in an auction, so I spent all my money on Saquon Barkley, Mahomes, and Debo Samuel. Oops. DK Metcalf.
Yeah. I thought I had a steal in Hollywood Brown in the later rounds of the draft.
Yeah.
T. Higgins, I was happy I got him, and he immediately hurts his hamstring. So, yeah, I'm going through it.
2-0.
Yeah, that's right. And I claimed Darnell Mooney. So
Nice.
Yeah,
I got Mooney.
Yeah,
I got Mooney.
everyone can jack around with these running backs. Yeah, you can put up some nice numbers. Kirk Cousins figuring things out.
This is a late auction
Yeah, there you go.
bid I had Mooney. Yeah,
There we go. Thanks.
I'll probably start my flex this weekend.
All right, we're going to hear from Mike Boddicker, Gary Barnett, Matt Derrick, Scott Sharp, Mike DePasquale. Also, the Mavericks have a couple of special games they're going to be hosting coming up if you're into the hockey. And so we'll talk to their GM and head coach, Tad O'Had, coming up soon. All that and more between now and 10 o'clock right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're going to talk some hockey right now because we've got a couple of games coming up that you can watch, and we're going to tell you about those here in a minute. But first, I want to introduce our guest, Tad O'Had, the GM and head coach of the Kansas City Mavericks. Coach, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, dude, great.
So let's talk about this. We've got coming up, the Mavericks are bringing in 2 AHL teams to play. And so coming up, we're going to have on October 4th and 5th at 7 o'clock, the Coachella Valley Firebirds against the Milwaukee Admirals. And so tell me about the relationship with the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Yep, so Coachella Valley is our parent club. They're the AAA club of the Seattle Kraken. And so it goes to Seattle Kraken in the NHL, Coachella Valley Firebirds in the AHL, and then the Kansas City Mavericks. So, all three of us are a pipeline for the Seattle Kraken.
So tell me about, so for people that don't watch a whole lot of the different levels, so what's the skill gap between the different leagues?
You know what? There's a slight skill gap in each level. You're going to see a little bit faster, a little bit more skilled, maybe a little bit larger. The one thing is Seattle has probably the best, pipeline of young talent right now. They've had a lot of draft picks over the past 3 years. Coachella Valley's won the Western Conference this past 2 years, gone to the finals the past 2 years. And so you're going to see a lot of talent, a lot of players that are going to end up in the NHL. Milwaukee is the affiliate of Nashville. And, and Coachella with Seattle. And so you're going to see a lot of guys that are going to be playing in the NHL down the road.
All right, so let's talk about that. Some of the young talent that will be on display coming up on October 4th and 5th. Give us some names to look out for.
Yeah, you know what? Coachella's stacked, with players, but you're going to see like a David Goet. He was an early round draft pick. You're going to see some great goaltenders, all three of them. Don't know who will be playing which games, but, a lot of talent there. You've got a roster lined with guys that are early round draft picks, very talented players. And you're also going to see some guys that were in Kansas City last year that have signed back in Coachella Valley, like a Jack LaFontaine. So there's some top players.
And obviously, if fans have been missing hockey and want to scratch that itch, it's a good way to come out there and get ready for the season to start. So come out on the 4th and 5th. And so tickets are available at Ticketmaster and KCMavericks.com. Tell us why some fans should come out there and watch these two games.
You know what? You're going to see the NHL stars there tomorrow. You're going to see the players that are going to be in the NHL tomorrow. You're going to see a high-level hockey game. We've got games on Friday and Saturday, and really there's no ECHL teams that have their AHL affiliate come in and playing games. So it just goes to continue to show, what the Lamar Hunt's bringing to Kansas City with regards to the level of hockey and talent. And I'll tell you what, it's you'll see some guys that might end up in Mavericks uniforms as well, and it's an exciting time.
And you guys are getting ready to go. I mean, Lebo was in here for a minute joking with you, but there's not much off season, is there?
Nope. When you go to the finals, there's not much off season, and you know what? We want to run it back. We've got a very good team coming in, probably about 10 to 12 returners, and we've been working hard in the recruiting trails, and we want to get back to the finals and win a championship.
And so I hope I wasn't the jinx. Rob, what was I scheduled to do if the series would have come back to Kansas City? Was I dropping the puck? Or I was doing something like a ceremonial. I was going to be part of it, and we had the suite. My family was ready to go. All fired up, and so I hope you don't blame me.
No, definitely not.
Because I was fired up for it, and so hopefully I get a chance to do that coming up this regular season. So, like you said, very nearly won the championship. Tell me about maybe some of the things that have changed in the off season and why you're excited about this new season to start up here in not very long.
Yeah, the one thing is we want to bring back the right guys, and so we'll probably have about 10 to 12 guys returning back to the roster. Our other players have continued to move on, matriculate to top leagues in Europe as well as the American League, and we want to do that. And then we've gone out and hit the recruiting trails hard. I think we learned a lot from the finals and the experience that's going to make us a better organization. I know as a coach I want to be better in those situations, but I'll tell you what, we're all guns blazing. We've got a heck of a team coming in, and we're ready to compete at the highest level again.
So, when you get there, we've seen in the past, I remember in 2014 when the Royals made it to Game 7 of the World Series, and they came back, and it was from day one they were on fire, and they won the championship. When the Chiefs lost in overtime of the AFC Championship game, they came back, and they were locked and loaded, and they won the championship. So for you, I know it's different because there's more turnover in the teams, but after the season's over and you're so close, how long does it take for you to get over something like that decompress, understand you had a great year, you come up short, but then refocus and then get after it and get ready to finish the job?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, you never get over it. You know, it's still something I think about every day. But what you want to do is you want to pull the positives from it. You want to find areas that you can sharpen your sword and be better. And that, as a coaching staff and as a team, we've really drilled down and looked at areas that we can improve. We made a major step, you know, the past 2 years with this organization. You know, the first one making the playoffs, then continuing to advance to the finals, and now we just have to sharpen that sword to win a championship. And so there's a lot of things, strategically, technically, how we want to, you know, coach our players up, but also the types of players we want to bring in. We've really looked at our roster formation, the types of players, and we want to continue to have a winning culture here in Kansas City, just like the other great sports teams in this town.
You know, you mentioned the recruiting aspect, going out there and find. Take us through that, because that's something I don't think we talk enough about, what you have to do in the offseason, like you said, to try to build this roster. Take us through some of the processes that you have to go through to try to go out and get the players that you want.
Yeah, you know, so we spend a lot of time on the phone with colleges, universities, coaches, as well as agents. But one of the things that we talk to our players about bringing in is, one, you know, we've really helped matriculate players onward. We've got players going to the top leagues in Europe. You know, got players signing great AHL contracts. And so this is a great hub for players to come. And, you know, last year we had 15 players have career highs professionally. The year before, 11 players had career highs professionally. So not only are we winning as a team, but we're advancing players. And so, you know what, we go out there, we hammer away, we try to find the right players, a lot of conversations with agents, and really just want to dial in and bring the right, you know, players. I went to Seattle development camp for their right after the draft. You know, I'm going to go out to Coachella Valley for their training camp. Just spending a lot of time with Seattle, the Seattle Kraken, Coachella Valley, just continuing to learn from their staffs and really have that three-tiered system.
When it comes to roster building, it's important for the GM and the head coach to be on the same page. Well, I would assume you're on the same page, because that's you, both of them. And so when you look at talent, but also fit, right? Whether it's, you know, your personality or just the right guy, like how do you balance those two things?
Yeah, so one goes hand in hand. You've got to have the right fit. You've got to have guys that buy into team, buy into work ethic, and understand what it takes. You know, I look at two things. One, care factor and compete level. Most of the things, if your care factor's high, your compete level's high, other things will fall in place. And then, you know, talent. We need talented guys. We need guys that, you know, can score goals and make big plays, that want to play in front of a great crowd. You know, I'll tell you what, my staff's amazing. Associate coach, goaltending coach, our president. We have a lot of conversations. I kill a lot of dead horses, you know, just talking about the types of players, and we're very much on the same page. We embrace those difficult conversations.
So when you talk about talent, do you ever run into, you have to find players that not only want to showcase their skills to advance, but they want to win, and not just make it about what they can do for themselves. They also want to win while they're showcasing what they can do.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that's tough about this league. You'll get a lot of guys that are very talented, but they want to get out of this league right away. And so you want guys that are going to understand, I want to improve and I want to advance, but I want to be a part of a winning culture and have fun playing. And so sometimes you do have to take a player maybe with a little less skill that wants to be a part of the big picture. It is a balancing act. You need to find the right guys, because we want guys that want to be in Kansas City. And that's something that's really important, and so it's finding that right fit.
You got to get those glue guys. Okay, and so before that all gets started, like I said, we've got coming up October 4th and 5th, Firebirds and the Admirals. Both games start at 7 o'clock. Tickets are on sale now, kcmavericks.com or Ticketmaster. Tell some hockey fans or tell any sports fans why they should come out there on October 4th and 5th and watch these two matches.
You're going to see the NHL players of tomorrow. You know, Nashville and Seattle, they're going to have a lot of their draft picks, a lot of their talent here. It's going to be a great game. You've got guys competing for spots. And so you're going to see a very high-octane, fast, tough, you know, great AHL hockey game here. This is exciting. Come out, check it out. Cable Dome Arena is an incredible experience.
And go ahead and get your tickets, because you guys are ready to roll in October. It's almost here.
Yep, almost here.
I can tell you got your game face on. I thought you were mad about me jinxing the season last year, but we're good though, right?
No, we're
I'll be
good.
invited
We're
back
good.
to do something.
Yes.
Put me on the Zamboni or something. I don't know. I'd like to be involved. That's Tad O'Had, who head coach and GM of the KC Mavericks. Don't forget, coming up, if you want to watch this showcase, it's October 4th and 5th. Go to kcmavericks.com or Ticketmaster to get tickets. Ted, as always, thanks for coming in, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
We'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
That the things that I tried were in my life just to get high on. When I sit alone, come get a little known, but I need more than myself this time. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe that we rely on. When I lay